Welcome to the Outta Control show with Rusty J and Kent C. Straight. It's about to get dangerously dangerous.
Hey folks, it's been a minute. Welcome back to the Outta Control show. My man Rusty J here. What's out of control, bud?
I don't know, Kent, but I think there's way too many things out of control in this day and age. And
well, let's pick one. You had mentioned one earlier off camera. 300,000 children had gone missing.
Right.
Crossing.
Right. I read that the other day,
America,
Kent. Yeah.
Under
Kamala, the border czar.
Yeah.
Harris.
And Biden under their government and their rule. Yeah, that's
300,000 children who came across the border into America in less than 4 years, went missing.
And why isn't
300,000?
300,000.
Now, we often talk about all kinds of fluff, and some important stuff too. But there's just some shit that we're distracted with, and there's the things that they won't talk about.
Right, and that's
like
one of them.
Human trafficking, child trafficking, which is what we're about to do. Because fuck them.
Yeah, totally. Fuck them.
We're distracted with what Trump says and this and that and this stupid shit when there's people in cages and sea cans.
Right.
And, being terribly abused and murdered and all kinds of horrible things. And why don't they talk about these things? Like, it all relates to me just like with Epstein.
Well, none of Epstein's clients have been prosecuted or have been named. That's no different than our government. Nobody's naming any names. They have names. They couldn't squeeze that woman. They couldn't squeeze him while they had him in there if they truly wanted to. But nobody's the man and who was running the Axiom cult procurement,
some Hollywood thing with actors,
with actors and in the Hollywood. Well, and I think they provided girls for these parties, right? Probably for Diddy parties. Diddy's kind of a part of this, kind of overall.
Diddy or didn't he?
I don't know. But some of those stars were pretty young when they went and hung out with Diddy. All of them. Usher, Rihanna.
I think it was Cat Williams who says if you get invited to a Diddy party, just say no.
Just say no, folks. If Diddy's asking you to come party, like Buck Wild crazy party.
And we're going to go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Yeah, just walk the other way.
I think he had a point.
Yeah.
I think he had a point.
But
these are these like unspoken things that we know are happening. We see little splurts in the media and stuff, and they don't talk about what's really important.
That's right.
And I mean, what's more important than protecting children? I mean, as adults, we were all children. I mean, they're the future of our planet, of our countries, of our families. I mean, if they are not protected, then what good are we?
Absolutely.
Not that two guys sitting on a couch can do much, but if more people talked about this.
But maybe if we have a conversation, and after watching this, and thanks for watching, by the way, like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching this, talk about this. We're going to lay out some stats here. Real easy, real quick stuff, and maybe some ways that you can educate yourself. But we need to talk this as a species, as Canadians, as Americans, as people on planet Earth, man. We need to all start talking about this, and we need to demand answers, and we really need to increase the punishment for this evil. And I think if Trump gets in, he says while he's on his campaign trail, he wants to enact the death penalty for these kind of crimes, and I hope he does, because as far as I'm concerned, those people once gone, will never reoffend. They will never reoffend. They will hurt nobody ever again. And some of that evil just needs to be put away. I'm sorry, but
it's unfortunate because it's human nature. Since the beginning of humans, we've
absolutely
attacked other villages.
Right.
We've taken land or lost land or been attacked. We're animals at the end of the day. And human nature, unfortunately, there's been slavery and genocide and human trafficking for as long as there's been humans that could organize. Right?
Absolutely, Ken.
And now in this day and age where we have the technology and communication and law enforcement, and you'd think that they'd be able to hammer this down a bit more, but it's like their priorities, like there are good law enforcement that are working on these things, and
they do exist. Yes,
they do exist. But the overall picture that the average
I think they're overwhelmed,
sees,
right? Because it is so big.
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
a
so
dark hole, yeah.
Here's the stat for everyone. This is 100%. Go look it up. But the number one industry on this planet today is trafficking of human beings. Okay, that's the number one. By grossly what it generates for money in a year, GDP, right? I guess if that is a gross domestic product of something, that's the biggest. So that industry, who's fueling that industry? What fuels that industry? How can they be making so much money off the lives of children? And a majority of trafficking is children, right? And it starts there. Like, if you haven't watched The Sound of Freedom, I suggest everybody does. If you have children of teenage age, I would suggest you watch that with them, because children really need to be they need to know what stranger danger is all about. Stranger danger, because there's a lot of strangers and there's a lot of danger. Like, in this day and age, to leave a child unattended in the public is like horrifying, because there's countless videos of people so the scariest video, Kent, I know I'm stealing the mic here, but the scariest video I've seen was a mother on her phone, and I pray that this video was it was made up, like it was like shock video, it was staged. But she is on her phone, Kent, and she's looking at her phone, and she's pointed in one direction, and she's doing this and not looking at her baby, and she's just rolling that stroller back, and there's a security camera watching her, right? And a dude comes out into the picture, creeps up, grabs the kid, and disappears. 5 minutes later, the lady is noticed, I think she may have noticed that maybe the stroller was a little lighter, looked in, and her kid was gone. In that 5 minutes, that dude is so far. And of course, this lady being, well, she wasn't the most healthiest, right, I guess, and like she wasn't going to be running anywhere, and like the feeling that woman must have felt,
an empty hole in your chest,
right? And I know that feeling, Kent, because when my daughter was young, we lost her. She kind of hid for a while, but that feeling because where I lived and how accessible and how transient the area was, anybody could go, like walking up a street and grab her and gone that fast. It's so fast. And they're doing that with adults, teenagers.
One just happened.
It's out of control, people. It is out of
one just
control.
Happened in Ontario like last week.
Right.
It was in the broad daylight at some shopping center. You have to forgive me, I don't know the town, but it was on the news. And 4 dudes jumped out and grabbed this young woman, tried to drag her into a car. Now, I don't know if that's human trafficking or an ex-boyfriend, or I don't know any more details than that.
But a woman just got...
Speaking of like snatching people, and she luckily got away, and I think a couple bystanders eventually helped.
Wow,
But 4 skinny dudes who... The lady seemed to fight him off,
Well,
they're grabbing her, trying to drag her, so she fought with everything she had.
good for her. And I'm glad.
Kudos to you, ma'am.
Kudos to you, ma'am. I'm glad you made it.
Glad you're safe.
And I hope you go to schools and share your story with young children and, teenage children and make them aware, because we live in such a sexualized society now that everybody's just willing to put themselves in the most vulnerable states for.
So, I mean, we could go so deep into this that it's not even allowed to be spoken about on social media things, right?
Right, yeah.
So, we all know there's this unspoken huge problem of people going missing, and like children especially.
That's right. If
And
there's
like, now imagine like whatever city or town you live in. Now imagine one that has 300,000 people. It might be smaller than where you live. Might be a lot bigger than where you live. You know, like the size of London, Ontario, or, you know, like Kingston or whatever, you know, like a medium-sized town might be. Imagine all them people in that town just disappeared.
gone.
That's what we're talking about. But it's like one here, one there, one here, and it goes unnoticed and people don't speak about it. So, what would be some actual tangible solutions to, because like this is a huge problem. We could go down the rabbit hole forever, and we know how bad it is. But instead of just doing that, let's
We need solutions. Actually, need solutions
I'm
to the
thinking,
problem.
Well, first of all, like you mentioned earlier, is penalties
Yeah,
significantly increased.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
instead of having police go to people's homes for mean things they might say on the internet, maybe put more resources in towards going after these coyotes and these human traffickers. Because, like, you know, it's like, oh, we bought an x-ray machine for sea cans. It's like, well, we should already have them, and 2 of them, and at everywhere. Like, we give so much money away. We waste so much money. We should have the things that Canada needs to be fucking safe. And
That's
we
right.
don't.
And we don't. And we are losing.
So the penalties need to be increased. The technology and the law enforcement in that regard.
Absolutely.
That's my first solution, is hammer down on these fucking people. And then the reason they don't talk about it, probably, as we all probably assume and put our tinfoil hat on, is it's the powerful people.
It's the
It's
powerful
the people that
people.
run. Like, why doesn't the media talk about it?
How
right?
do they generate billions of dollars if it isn't like run by billionaires? It's $1 billion industry. So the common man may be the customer, but the provider has to have some serious connections to make this happen in this magnitude, Kent. Like, it is so big. Like, when I went down that rabbit hole for the very first time and realized the sheer size of this, like, global evil, man, it blew my freaking mind. And I was, like, angry for a long time. And I still am, because of these, nobody is talking about it. And people that have got busted that could, like, blow holes into these stories
like
and expose this evil, they either get suicided or they're tucked away, never seen ever again, right? And here we are. So until you, me, and the next guy start talking about it and start looking into this and start asking our MLAs what they're going to do about it and why is it so bad. So in BC, the missing persons stats come from a certain area, right? And these some
Like
key
most
areas,
of the people who
go missing,
come
and it's
from
women that go missing in these areas, right? And they're all areas that are basically port access. So yes, for, like you said earlier, people getting taken and thrown in sea cans and gone. So that is the easiest way to traffic somebody, is to get them out of the country. So if you have a way to do that, once they're gone, they're untraceable. And if they're from that point on, they're gone. And wherever they go, and it's a hub. And the numbers are staggering on how many women go missing a year there. Thousands of women, man. And you start looking at how many days there are in a year, 5-10 women a day, maybe more, like just missing, gone. And people too, not just women. Another good something I recommend everybody watch is Missing 411. Crazy stories. This I can't remember his name. I'll add it. But this is ex police officer who basically categorized all the missing people that went missing in national parks, and basically he broke it down to like times of days, weather conditions, the seasons, so all these factors, and there's like a common denominator by all these cases that they happen in this certain window, right? And there's like thousands of people, like if we realized how many people went missing globally a day, it'd blow your freaking mind. It would blow people's mind. Because we take for granted the sheer size of things like just a million. Well,
It's a lot.
it's a lot to count to a million, right? Will take you 9 days, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it's 9 days.
Internet
But
fact check us.
We'll check it out. We'll add it right here.
Well, like I've said on other shows, and I'll probably say it again now, is, you protest the Canadian government, and you donate a little bit of money to a protest, they will track you down, freeze your bank account, and ruin your life. They've got people in jail who have information that could lead them to people who abuse other humans and have sex with minors. And I don't care, and who do they go after? Who do they hammer down on? Who do they make look bad in the media? Why isn't anyone ever asking these questions? Okay, sure, you want to keep some information secret if you're law enforcement because you want to do investigations and you want to get the big fish by following the little fish. I get it. But after a while, you got to fucking hammer some of these people because, like I said earlier, that animal nature where we want to conquer and we are we're a human species that is violent and warlike. We're also peaceful, nice, and helpful, but our history is beating the shit out of each other and killing each other. And we've always had predators. And how did we deal with them? I'm saying 100% guilty without a doubt. You have to instill some fear into these people that do the most terrible things in society, whether it's to women, children, or anybody else.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter their social status.
Eventually, you can't just hold out for investigations or to try... if you know you can hammer 50 of these fucking people and put them out in the media, hammer them, ruin their lives, put them away in jail forever, make a statement, it would scare a lot of these other people who...
Well, people have, Kent,
right?
And that's the thing. Some people have, and those people are not with us anymore. And there's a lot of courageous people that came forward, actors, filmmakers, stuntmen, and they're all saying the same thing. The Hollywood world is a den of thieves. Like we just said, look at Diddy. Well, who's he hanging with? Well, you start looking into that story, and we're not going to get into it now, but it'd be a good story to talk about. It's dark, man, and it's gay. It really is. Oh, it's so gay, man. These guys are pretending they're hard as fuck, and they're the biggest, gayest guys on the street doing. And hey, do that,
cares?
but
Yeah.
you bash what you do, man. You're closet homo, pretending to be somebody you're not, and then you rape everybody who gets into the business. Literally, not only financially, but they literally get raped.
Some of them, yeah.
And that shit's been going on for a long time. In my mind, that's where you sell your soul to that
Oh,
devil.
pretty much.
You're giving it away, man. Whatever they want, they're taking, and obviously that must be the price,
Like
right?
Robert
the
Johnson at the
chocolate cherry.
Crossroads.
Do they? I wonder if they have a wall of chocolate cherries, like because they're all let's just say there are predators, bro. They are predators,
every
and predators have take trophies. We all take trophies. I'm a predator, not in that regard, but in the regards of hunting
animals.
right? Animals,
Yeah.
right? We all have that nature in us. Some people take it to the extremes, but there's always a trophy. So I wonder what they keep. It's interesting.
So look at who they go after.
But anyway, off topic of the children. Well, not really off topic because these people do take young. I would consider them old children, right? Youths, and bring them into business. Go buck wild crazy,
many
bro.
young people
Buck wild crazy parties.
Like how many young people in Hollywood make it out okay?
Well, look at Hollywood,
Right,
and
without
look how
having
they
problems.
portray these stars. They portray these stars as innocent, right? When they're young, influential, good, wholesome people, and then all of a sudden they hit 18 and they flip their. Once they get this following of people,
flip their script.
they flip the script, and now they're evil and dark, and they're doing all this crazy stuff, and the sex, drugs, and rock and roll to the pin, right? And then, which is in my mind, you ever heard of MK Ultra?
Yes.
Right. I think that's part of it, and they just wreck these people. Look at poor Britney. She's standing in the camera, and shaking her stuff, and Britney's looking good, but at her age and the expression, I don't know if she's messing with the world or Britney's
some darkness there.
No, Britney's broken, man. They broke her. Right, because I think the level, and if you look into this stuff, it is dark, man, and the things that they do to people to control them, and and once they have you, it's coming out. Epstein, I think Hefner, now Diddy and his crew, it's all blackmail, and that's how they get these people, put them in compromised situations, and then use their deep dark secrets against them. So at that point, you're going to basically be a part of them, or you're going to die, because the people that come out and that want to leave or try to get their secrets out don't make it very long. Like that movie Eyes Wide Shut, bro, that was just like basically like the intro. It was like, this is how we do it. Like it was those type of people throwing it in our face, because some of the things that some of these actors and the actors in that movie, their parents were implicated in. Crazy, satanic, man. Very satanic stuff.
There's a lot of imagery going around now too, in a lot of the new music and things like that.
Well, we can definitely see, like, if you, like we said earlier in the last episode, we were talking about the Olympics and the theme that they were going on there. One could say that was kind of, somewhat a dark kind of theme. Like the colors were all kind.
Like, are you talking about the opening ceremony?
Yeah, the opening ceremony.
I saw two things that made sense. One was, it was the Last Supper, and they're mocking Christianity.
But I think
then there was another one where there was some Greek,
right,
and it was like
a Greek picture that was very close to what they portrayed there.
Yes.
So they didn't. But no, I was just thinking the overall theme, the colors, symbolism, but just the visuals that they were throwing out. They started it with a person holding their head. I took it was Marie Antoinette, right?
Yep.
And basically they started with some real dark music. Well, I think it's dark. If you're a heavy metal guy, you might think it's great, but to me it was, and I never heard of these guys before. I don't know, they're heavy metal French band. And so just that and fire and stuff. Okay, right on. And then from that point on, we had the bearded lady running around in her bikini and, in a swimsuit. I didn't understand why they were, okay, sure, yeah, right.
big
but
blue Smurf.
Right, and the big blue Smurf and the dancer with his balls hanging out. And, and at that point, what I found funny, though, Kent, is this is how
the Australian breakdancer,
yeah
hidden koala,
Right.
crouching kangaroo.
Oh, we can't talk about her. We'll get canceled.
Oh.
So don't talk about the breakdancer.
And I love life. Speaking about this, and
That's right. We're not suicidal.
yeah, like I
Okay?
love life.
We're not suicidal.
I plan on being here
That's
for a
right.
while.
We're not
I'm
going
upset
off the deep end.
in any way. I
Right.
want that on record.
But
I never worked for the Clintons.
right. So for me and the world, they thought this was dark, and it's funny how long they ran with the Last Supper controversy, when really there is that other painting that looks exactly what they portrayed there, and nobody commented on it. And I don't even know if this day, if they were like somebody actually redacted and said, "Hey, no, look, this is the actual photo that they, I'm
not sure.
But overall, it was
know people
weird.
pointed it
The ending ceremonies were weird. It was just weird, okay? And I thought it was weird and dark, but it's just kind of fitting in the day and age we live in right now. And unfortunate is, I really think evil's got maybe the upper hand or running the show, or has a good, real strong hold on our world for sure. But
It's a battle.
truly, I hope, this is taking it right out there, Kent, but I hope that it is an alien entity that is running the show, and they're the ones who are eating or doing whatever they are with these children, right? And it isn't actually humanity. You know what I mean? It's right,
it's
because
definitely humans.
like, just for all hope of humanity that we couldn't be that dark to do that, as that
We are, dude. Like, there's
Because-
there's a billion. There's untold amount of stars out there. There's obviously life in outer space. Have they intermingled with us or influenced us or here now? Or I don't know for certain. It's
Well,
possible.
some of
It's
the
possible, but I'm pretty sure humans are pretty fucking evil.
well,
Like, we have a whole history based on killing each other. And the victors write history. So you don't even know the true 100% history, because
absolutely.
a lot
That's
of
why
it's been destroyed or not written properly.
question
or
everything,
manipulated.
or captured by the victors and manipulated.
However
in there.
someone might want.
Exactly. So truly, and we've seen it in our own lifetime, Kent, and that's why we're talking to you folks right now, because we want to talk about and bring the real questions, the real stories to the table, and we need to share this, and basically everybody get weigh in. And the more of us that know what's going on, the harder it is to pull the wool out of our eyes. The unfortunate part is it's getting very hard to know who you can trust, and who to believe and what to believe. And it's very, very it's very scary, and it's very saddening that we're going down this. Like, I honestly think as a species, we're like starting to regress here. Mm-hmm. We're starting to get, the division, the levels of division that keep us divided. So we ignore these stories like this, the real problems like we're talking about right now. We're too busy worried about Trump and Kamala. We're too busy about worrying about Justin. But if these people keep us divided, then they can keep pulling the wool, and they can keep doing their things, and we will never know the stories, and the children will just keep going missing.
And the question I've always had is, we know this is a huge problem. We know it continues. We know it's probably gets worse. And my question is why isn't it ever a priority?
Never a priority, it seems.
Like, why? Like, when they make, like it'll literally be on the news if someone makes dark tire tracks on an LGBTQ crosswalk. Again, I don't give a shit what you paint, but they'll literally report on the news that there's tire marks on a crosswalk, and it's like a hate crime, and they're searching for people over some kid being probably stupid and just squealing his tires over a crosswalk he doesn't like. But they will totally ignore
300,000 children going missing.
Just that those aren't the ones that went missing from America. They're the ones that went missing coming into America.
Yes.
And like we just really want, because it, you know, we all got little people in our families. And I mean, if you can't protect the kids, then what good are we?
What good are we?
So the best thing you can do is try to come up with, if and again, like Rusty says here, don't, like, who do you know who to trust? And I mean, I'm not even saying trust us. Look into these things yourselves, these things that we talk about. Gather your own information, gather your own numbers. But what we're talking about is definitely happening, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. And I think as far as solutions go, is, like Rusty says, is to start talking about it more. But also, let's push them to increase the law enforcement.
That's right.
To refocus from the stupid shit, some of the stuff they're doing, and focus their attention to where it matters more.
Yeah. Let's,
you know?
How about we...
and hammer these fucking people that do this to other people.
I got a good one. Let's take our carbon tax and let's invest it into a task force that apprehends this evil, that goes to war with this evil.
I would prefer they get rid of the carbon tax.
Well,
see, if they got rid of the carbon tax and created a better environment in Canada for business, more businesses would open, there'd be more jobs, people would make more money, and thusly pay more tax anyway. Because they're making more money, they're buying more things, they're buying homes, they're buying cars. The government would be just fine. They'd get their slice, right? But with a carbon tax and inflation and less people are spending, you know, I'd rather they just make the country better and the economy better so everybody prospers, which means everybody pays. And then we could take some of that money, instead of giving it to Ukraine, do the task force like you say, without having a carbon tax or any extra taxes. It's just the country does better, we make more money. We pay a little bit more money to taxes. It's just the way it is.
That's right. Unfortunately, we need good people at the top to make that happen. And that's where we're screwed, is because the top is so corrupt and so polluted that even I think the good that is there has a hard time with it, because it's so bad and it's so corrupt.
If you get too close to the sun on this one, you're getting burnt.
Yeah, absolutely you are. So, and there's a lot of good people doing a lot of research, bringing these stories to the table, and for people to open their eyes to, because let's just face it, we, like you said, Kent, we do have small people in our lives, and you know, heaven forbid anyone loses them to this evil, right? Heaven forbid, because there's no feeling like that. So, and the scary thing about that is, and what scares me as a parent, as a grandparent, is that evil is just growing, and it's getting bolder, and it's just, you know, it's totally out of control, and in biblical proportions.
Yeah, it hurts your heart when you think about it.
It does, and and you must gotta think too about the people that fight this evil, and right, because they're such a small group, but yet doing such big work.
I was just thinking about that as another solution, is find the people, the legitimate people that are working on this problem, and if you are passionate about this, or you've wanted to do something, find out the people that really are doing something and support them, or shoot them a couple bucks. You know, make sure they're legit. Don't just throw money at anybody. But if you're that passionate about trying to help solve this problem, that's another avenue to support the people who are fighting it.
That's the biggest thing, is support, right? Because there's so much damage, Kent. It's so huge, right? There's so many people out there that have been affected. Like everybody I know, man, that has been affected by, you know, some sort of sexual violence, sexual, you know, torment. You're scarred for life. You know, they're just different people, and I don't, you know,
it's not fair and it's not right.
Well, there's a lot of damage out there, and this stuff is so big that there's going to be a lot of people that need a lot of help, and we need to really, as a species, it's one thing to fight and get rid of this evil, but it's the other thing is to heal from it and help those people and help them move on, man, and have a life, because for every good story, there's a million horror stories, and we got to turn those tides, man. And we really need to, as a species, as a global species, man, like everyone on this planet needs to acknowledge this and make this the number one priority. Like, our children are not for sale. Our children aren't for sale.
They apparently are.
Well, apparently they are.
In some corners of the world.
In too many corners of the world. That's the problem.
Well, we're going to keep looking into this, folks, and we're going to probably do another episode on this another time.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to actually look into some of those groups that are doing some good here and see if I can bring any of that to your attention. So,
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Right.
And
do some digging.
We talk about some heavy stuff, and this is one of the more heavy ones, but the protection of children and women is our duty as men. And all good men in this world need to
step up and protect your women and your children. And yeah. Thanks all. Stay Canadian.
Keep your sticks on the ice. Peace.
Peace.
Later.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired? Don't want any more taxes or censorship? Tired of the government being a pain in your ass? It's simple. Stop voting fucking liberal.
And thank you, sponsor, disenfranchised liberal voters. Yes. Thank you. We have no sponsors, but we're going to fuck with people.
That's what we're here to do.